Hey guys, welcome to LIH. So I gotta be kind of quiet. I don't want to be talking over these guys, but we're at a forging and knife show in Grand Rapids, Minnesota, with a bunch of friends, and it's in like a private neighborhood or whatever you want to call it, and but it's at a guy's garage, and it's just really cool that they're doing this. And there's a bunch of people here right now, and more people showing up as we're standing around. It's really cold this morning, windy, breezy, chilly. We got some coffee and breakfast and everything, and we just met over here, and everybody's starting to show up. And I'll do some filming as we're going along, so I probably won't be talking. I'll let you guys just listen to the guys that are talking and whatever, and then when they start forging some knives and stuff, I'll try to get some footage of that too, so we'll see what happens.
And that turned out pretty well for me. I went up against Ed Clark, who's a journeyman smith, and Ed's a heck of a guy. He didn't manage his time real well and come up pretty short in that. I ended up going up against, in the last round, I ended up going up against a guy named Brandon Steele, who didn't know a whole lot, but he did really good with what he had. He pounded on his blade for 3 days. He quenched the last day. I quenched the first day. So that was the biggest difference, is the tools that I had and a little bit of the technique and stuff. He ran out of propane. His anvil was small and bouncing around. He works in IT and not maybe the handiest with the hammer. He's getting a lot better. His work's improved a ton. So his sword was fairly rough. The judges told him, they didn't tell me this, I wish they would, but they told me that my blade was in the top 6 finale weapons that they had through. So that was pretty neat. I made a Spanish Conquistador sword. It was a 100-layer ladder pattern Spanish Conquistador sword. So that's basically a transition rapier. It's when they were transitioning from a heavy two-handed sword to a lighter fencing sword. So it looks like a rapier, but it's quite a bit heavier. So that was that. Any questions before I get started or going? The steel that much and the bright lights in there, it's hard to tell, and whatever. So and maybe they have in the past, but I didn't feel that there was any funny business like that. It was just that people are that rushed, you're working that hard trying to get it done. So yeah, that was
your own tempering there.
They temper them in the evening throughout the night, the next day, and you have no control over it. You hand in a hardened blade. You hand in a hardened blade, and they take care of it. I know some guys have said that they tempered them wrong. Jim Poor is one example of that. He's a pretty smart guy, and he knows his steel. He wasn't so much into blades when he went on. He's gotten pretty handy. He's a fantastic horseshoer. He's a fantastic blacksmith. He'd out blacksmith most of the guys I know blindfolded. His wife probably out blacksmith most guys I know. So he knows a lot about steel and a lot about things. And he said that blade didn't handle like it. He didn't think it was tempered at all. I don't know. Maybe that was just because he didn't do so well. Like it's hard to say. But mine performed. They took mine. You can't hold the work. You can't hit it. Especially for a power hammer, you want something that holds it as well as you can. A pair of flat-jawed tongs, a pair of farrier tongs, they don't work all that great because when you hit them, the steel comes flying out. I have scars. That first piece of Damascus that I said that I made with my friend with the chainsaw, he's got a scar on his neck from it as we were running sledgehammers, and it flew up and landed on his neck. And so holding it bounced. It wasn't. I mean, it barely left a blister. But it's so important to be able to hold the steel. You can buy lots of different kinds and whatever. The problem is you need so many different tongs because your shape is always changing. The other thing is leave them on the stick as long as you can. Don't even use tongs. Just forge on the end of a 4-foot stick. That works out pretty good too. But yeah, if you can learn to make this on tongs, I think that's super good. yourself a lot more ways to screw up a blade when you forge it. The advantage of forging is that you can use a stock that doesn't fit, doesn't work. You can start with round stock, you can start with a ball, you can start with a bearing, you can whatever, forge it into what you need. Forged is really nice for a big blade that curves. Otherwise you got to start with a big piece and cut off a lot of things. How do you carve a wooden Indian? Take a log, cut off everything that doesn't look like an Indian. Kind of same way with a knife. How do you make a big swoop knife? Cut off everything that doesn't look like that big swoop knife. You're gonna have a lot of waste. Or if you can forge it, you can bend it around, you can shape it, and you can, if you had a big cutlass, it can be this wide and just bend that whole way.
So these are knives that Gene Shadley makes, and this is his new book that he came out with. And like right here, he's showing some of the molds and stuff that he makes. And these are some of the knives that he's built. And he actually made me one of these right here, which is really cool. I still got that thing. I love it. And you can see how he did the deal for it here, the mold. It's super cool. What do you got to say? Talk to the camera.
Hi, how are ya?
So what do you got there?
Well, this is, oddly enough, the mold for making
Oh, I got you. Yeah, yeah.
the horns. And then you wax these onto the head, and then you can send the waxes out.
Wow, that's a trip.
Yeah, no kidding.
It's fascinating.
I tried making those things with the horns attached.
Not gonna happen at all.
No,
Well, you had no way to get them out of there, though, right?
no. And I had the mold cut in, I think, 4 or 5 pieces,
Yeah.
and it still didn't want to work.
Wow.
It's a lot of trial and error.
What's your website or whatever where people can get a hold of you?
I've got an Instagram account. It's Shadley_knives.
All right.
And I've got all kinds of things posted on there, not just knives, but lots of stuff.
I'll make sure to put that on my website and
All
everything
right,
too.
thank you.
Awesome. I gotta get one of your books before I leave today too.
Okay. Very good. Yep.
Oh, there's all kinds of cool stuff in here. I could walk around here for hours.
Carving over there.
A lot of artisans here today where they're making stuff. You know, I mean, like, look at this. This is absolutely beautiful. I'm not gonna touch. So
Don Newsom, he's doing a lot.
here's another one.
Right off some medication he'd been on for years. He said he's feeling better than he has for a long time. Mark and John Beltman spent some of
These knife grinders are amazing right here. I gotta get one of these days. And look at this anvil. This thing is beautiful.
He's still doing some writing and a little bit of lawyer work.
Back to that, your hammer is the die, but you want a rounded surface. It's nice to have a rounded hammer piece. You want to come in and make that round. Pretty hard to do with the square face. Just a little bit more preform in here, because I'm not sure that it's going to be quite enough. So when I'm working on the horn, when I'm trying to bend something, I'm going to be working on the horn more than likely. It's always 3 points of contact. Your tongs, the hammer, the anvil, and the hammer. If you're trying to bend it, you're going to be working over the horizon. If you're trying to straighten it, you're going to be working on this side of the horizon. And if you're trying to smush it, you're going to be working right on top of the horizon. So, got a little bit more of a hook down to it.
Thank you.
Could you just repeat those points, 3 points?
Yeah, on the bending, on the forging. Yeah, so if you want to straighten a piece, you're going to work on the near side of the horizon of the anvil. So your tongs are going to be 1 point, the anvil is the other, your hammer's going to be the 3rd point in the middle. If you're straightening it. starting to look like a knife. Yeah. What I would maybe choose if I was gonna go deer hunting, but there's really nothing on a deer I couldn't do with this knife.
Turn out trick.
That's all you need.
And they carry. A lot of guys like to be able. That knife's heavy. It's too heavy.
Thank you. Oh my gosh, that's gorgeous, huh? Beautiful.
You do any engraving?
I haven't. No, I would love to learn. I'm not sure that I got the skills for it, but.
Got a car engraving.
Really?
Yeah.
Are you here in Rapids? Or?
Yeah, I'm just a mile down the road.
What's your name?
Lily.
Lily. Cody.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you.